Yo, welcome to another episode of the BJJ GOONS podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tim, the Mushmaster Spriggs, and my co-host every week is...
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Nico Ball, no new Nico. Glad to be back.
And we brought a former guest, our good friend, Muhsin, the technician Corbbrey.
What's going on, guys?
Yo, we need to call him Muhsin the salesman, Corbbrey. He's trying to sell this move down to Atlanta.
I think everybody should move down south, man. It's a dope spot, man. We're right on the beach. We got beautiful weather. We're not like locked in our house. We can train. We're having a good time down here.
It has been a good time. I do like Southern living. Even though,
I bet. And the food down there, man.
Yeah.
It's good. We can walk around with rocket launchers and tanks and shit. Like, it's fantastic.
How much is a tank?
I don't know. I can't. That's not in the budget yet. I need to put it on my goal list though.
I mean, like tigers are surprisingly affordable. So
I was thinking about using my Joe Biden money for a tiger, but
your Joe Biden what? Your Joe Biden like
a stimulus?
No, he's asking for money. Isn't he asking for money? The Joe Biden bid or fund?
From what I understand, he's been, which I don't think I would get that much of it anyways. I didn't get that much last time, but from what I understand, he's been trying to decrease the amount of money that is going to get sent out in the next round of stimulus, which right now we're going through another set of lockdowns. So multiple states are locking down again. I don't think Georgia will again, but I mean, so you got people that they're losing every damn thing, and we've gotten $1,200. Like the people have gotten $1,200, and we're forced not to work. It's crazy. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, all that. Everybody else, every other country got so much more money and stimulus and aid. It's crazy that like we can't keep anything together. And I was seeing like a lot of posts today from people because apparently the DC mayor like forced another shutdown. Mm-hmm. So one of the gyms here, he was complaining. And then all my other friends got on it because, all them right-wing people came out. And then they're like, yeah, first the gyms, then the guns. And I don't know, it just got real weird real quick. And I was like,
it's usually how it happens, man. I mean, we are a fractured country. You got to understand, we're like right at 50-50. Like 50% want like crazy-ass Trump and 50% want Biden. I think everybody didn't want Biden. I think they just wanted Trump less, so they voted for Biden. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't know, man. We're in a very strange times, man. Very strange times. I would much rather be watching this happen from overseas somewhere, but I'm stuck in the middle of it.
Where would you go if you could leave?
Man, my homeboys in Thailand look like they're having a good time right now, and it's open back up. Right now. I don't know.
I've never been to Thailand. The only part in Asia I've been to is Korea, but my best friend DJ's in Thailand. We gotta film a special episode from Thailand.
No, DJ's been ducking us. Let's keep it real. Thailand must be that great because DJ has been ducking us.
Well, from what I understand, that's like DJ's MO. He runs from shit like riots and fights and evidently podcasts.
Hey, somebody was listening to the last episode.
Listen, he founded the podcast. He has to. We're about to have our 100th episode, and I wanted to be very special. So hopefully he can get back on the show before the 100th or at least at the 100th. So that's my hope. And you're talking a lot about traveling and shutdowns, but ironically, Nico, in your current events, there's supposed to be a lot of tournaments, correct?
Oh, there's a lot of tournaments. And before we even get to the tournaments, man, because I was like checking them out, trying to seem educated and look for the dates of these tournaments, which I didn't find. They're in December. Y'all fucking crazy if you want to compete anyway. I'm not giving you the dates.
Why? Like the chances of a young person having any issue with this virus whatsoever are zero. I know about 50 people that have had it already, and none of them had a problem.
Yeah,
I've had it. That shit was like, for a young healthy person, man, shit was not bad. Like I've had colds worse. Now again. Now, if that young, healthy person goes and hangs out with their 200-year-old grandma's going to have some problems with this virus. So we have to be understanding of who's more vulnerable. But stopping an athlete from competing when an athlete has like zero chance of having any issue with this virus is absolutely crazy to me.
All right, I feel you, but to kind of, I think like my issue with competing isn't that like it might affect young competitors. It's just the fact that you're pulling competitors from all over the country now, and it's just, I don't know, just the chance of them catching it and like giving it, passing it, or just spreading it by pulling people in from all over the place. It's like one thing if you're trying to train at your local gym in Maryland. It's another thing to be like again having everybody traveling around the country to all this
I
open.
mean, but don't we want young, healthy people to go ahead and get it so they have some level of immunity? Wouldn't that be optimal? I mean, that's what we're going to do when we give a vaccine, right?
I mean, after talking to a Ray, I'm worried about like even if I did get it, like potential like side effects, like the long-term side effects that people say they're not like fully aware of. I guess that would be like my fear.
What is the percentage of that too? Like,
long-term side effects, like the long haulers are a very specific amount, and those are people that had worst case scenario, that had it very, very bad. Like so right now, you see how obsessive compulsive I am about just every metric of my health. I literally walk around with an iWatch on every day, measuring my blood oxygen, my blood pressure, my resting heart rate, my moving heart rate, my sleeping heart rate, my sleep patterns. Like as I get older, I want to be as healthy as I can be. So, I mean, right now, every measurable metric of health is better than it was before I got COVID. Like everything's better. My blood pressure is better. Everything's better. So, I mean, not everybody's going to have that long haul, and it's a very small percentage of people that's getting those problems. And those problems are more people that are unhealthy. Now there are outliers. I heard of a marathon runner that had some issues, and they had some long-term effects. But I mean, again, there are going to be outliers with everything. There are people that are extremely healthy that had worst case scenario with the flu. That's viruses, you know. But being healthy is our best bet against this thing, man.
So you're not going to Brazil anytime soon, Nico? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. My trip got canceled, I guess. I was supposed to fly out yesterday.
You should have just sent me a ticket. I'll go to Brazil. I'll have a good time.
I know. And then somebody else. I know a lot of people that have gone. Muhammad's down there. I have a friend from Uruguay. He just sent me a message. He's down there. They're supposed to be filming. They're not supposed to be. They are starting the filming of the movie that they're doing with today. So I was supposed to go down there for that. But
so have any of your friends gotten sick and died?
Gotten sick badly, but not like I'm
talking about like of your friends that went to Brazil.
No.
All athletes, huh?
See, it's always something. Here's the thing: like I'll talk to one person and they'll be like, "All right,
he's a good salesman, Nico. I'm telling you."
And then I talked to like a Ray had me freaked out. She's like, the only way I'm traveling is in like a hazmat suit.
Listen,
I
love Ray, but Ray been locked in the house for like 6 or 8 months. She ain't left the house.
Yo, it's gonna end up being a year. I had to get out of there, yo. Cabin fever's real.
Yeah, it is. Well, I've
honestly, the psychological impact of this is gonna damage more people's immune system than COVID will.
Yeah, that is true. It is like it really does mess with your mind.
Nico, you gotta travel.
I'm trying to.
You gotta travel.
I'm trying.
Look at Tim.
That's the whole theme of today.
But on top of Corona,
the whole time, and Tim ain't dead yet. Tim good.
Tim has not left his house. Tim has been a little sissy. No, he isn't leaving. He ain't going nowhere. Atlanta is the first time he's left.
I mean, he's in Savannah getting it in. He going to the beach.
Yeah, I went to the beach.
We're going to the club tonight, right?
Yeah. It's going to be a turn up. I've been training without a mask on, you know.
I ain't know goodbye.
You need to go to Brazil and get in that goddamn movie, Nico.
But then, like, I also have my job. So my job and, like, that being an issue, I was worried about, like, Biden. I don't know. I was worried about a lot of stuff. I guess, you know, a lot of excuses, as Master Lloyd would say. Anyways, I'm going to take the topic off of me and let's talk about, you heard about, like, we got Gordon Ryan and the DDS back in the news again. Like, they're all apparently relocating to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, they're going somewhere where they can train. Yeah.
A little ethnic for their taste, don't you think?
They kind of on some, I'm not going to say this because I don't want to get flamed, but I've heard through the grapevine they're very alt-rightish and they all going out there with a bunch of brown people. It's kind of crazy to me, right?
Very ethnic for their taste, I think. Like, they're going to be upset that they have to speak a little bit of Spanish, I believe.
Right? He'd be like, go back to your country. Well, hey, wait, you're in Puerto Rico.
Their territory.
But like they're taking Nicky Rodriguez. Maybe he'll just be like the token spokesperson.
But listen, does he speak Spanish though? There's a lot of people with Spanish last names that don't speak Spanish.
True.
Yeah.
It could just be,
Most of them are in Philadelphia though, not in New York.
True.
True. True. My city. I can never go home now.
You can't go home. No, you should. You should fly down south where you can train and have any guns you want. You know, that's what you need to do, Nico. You need to travel.
I travel more than you. Now I'm not traveling. I travel way more than you, Tim. Don't go on me because you got up and you're in Savannah on the beach feeling yourself right now. And I'm up in here freezing my ass off.
Well, since you can't travel, let's get I think we should go around. So today, one of the themes is our best and worst trip, right? So I wanted to go around. Each of you hopefully have at least two in your mind. Best and worst trip. Let's do best first. What is the best trip that you've had, Nico? We can start with you. If you have multiple, you can continue, but let's start with you. Best trip.
Best trip was hands down going to Europeans, going to Portugal. Like I can't even remember if it was 2 or 3 times. I can't even remember, but every time I go to Europe and to Lisbon, it's the best time. I would say like the first time it was dope. I loved being there. The second time was a little bit better because I knew how to navigate it a little bit more. First time I ended up staying, Ted Day got us places to stay, so I didn't have like a hotel. So I ended up staying at 5 different places. Some of and then projects, like the projects in Lisbon. I was there for a little while, went to like a penthouse, and then like I kind of got abandoned on the street, and some people from Switzerland took me in. So I got to stay like right downtown where everything is, like by the plazas and everything, and that was really dope. So I think going to Europe is hands down the best trip. And like I don't go to the after parties to the competition, but I know Europeans has like a dope after party where all y'all get crunk.
For sure, crunk. Muhsin, let's start with you. Let's go to you. I'm sorry, not start.
I've been blessed to go a lot of different places, but still, top of my list is probably my first trip to Thailand. I mean, it was my first, so I'd been out of the country. I've been to Canada, I've been to South America, Mexico, stuff like that. But first time I went to Thailand, man, like, it's so far away that literally, like, it's 24 hours of flight time. So when you get there, you're so discombobulated. But when you walk out of your bungalow the first day, like, it's just different. It smells different. It feels different. And I was in Phuket, and that was before Phuket got super overpopulated with a bunch of foreigners. Like, it was still a new place that people were going. It wasn't all built out. And so, I mean, it was really like being in a very foreign place. I didn't see too many Americans or too many Europeans. It was just a bunch of brown folks walking around doing what they do, speaking their language. And it was just an opportunity for me to not feel the pressures that we feel every day being Black in America. Like, it's pretty awesome experience. And it just kind of opened my eyes to there being places outside the U.S. where we can go, be treated with respect, and have a beautiful life.
That's wonderful. I think I'll go with one of my good ones first. One of the best trips, and the trip that made me decide that I wanted to be a professional jiu-jitsu artist, was Europeans 2011. Extreme. Hello?
Yeah, you're there.
Okay. So I was living that college life to the extreme, and I was partying, and I got like the beer belly, like the Chuck Liddell beer belly, and I was so out of shape, right?
Before you went to
Before I went. And just by a chance, my coach at the time, Julius Park, who runs Crazy 88, he ran into my dad at Starbucks, and my dad called me that day and was like, hey, everyone's going to this tournament in Europe. You should go. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should stop being a party animal, living like a frat boy, being a fat fuck, and eating chopped cheeses in New York every day. I should invest in some workouts and get ready for Europeans. So that day forward, for the next I would say 8 to 9 weeks, I was working out every day, like training. Then it just so happened that it was right before winter break, which was several weeks. So I was training every day, 3 times a day, strength and conditioning, drilling, everything. And then we went to Europeans, and it was my first Grand Slam title. At the time, I was a guard player, so I was pulling guard every match, doing spider guard, sweeping, omoplatas, triangles, all that crazy stuff. I won my division. I took second in the open, and we did the battle of the countries. So it was United States, which really shouldn't have been in it because let me go back. So the night I won, we went to party in Lisbon, like all night. We stayed up all night. We went to the main streets. Huh?
Oh, y'all party in Lisbon. Nobody invites me, but I know y'all be partying.
This is right, I think, right when they decided to legalize all drugs in Lisbon. Because Portugal, all drugs are legal. So
are they?
Yes, in Portugal. So all I remember from that night after I won was we went to Hard Rock Cafe, and that's all I remember. Literally the only thing I remember. We went to Hard Rock Cafe, and then it's like a blur. Like when I think about it now, I remember Hard Rock Cafe, cobblestone streets, bar row, nightclub with like flashing lights and like black lights. So I'm in the bed, and I wake up the next morning, and we go to the venue, and we see our teammate Big Sal, Al Washington, one of our black belts, and we're in the stands hungover. We see him down by the mat side in this corner where there's a desk, and he's like yelling and like going all crazy, and he turns to us and starts waving for us to come down, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Come to find out, they had, for that year's Europeans, a battle of the countries, but it's really only supposed to be European countries and Brazil. But somehow
why in Europe and Brazil?
Huh?
Why European countries and Brazil?
I don't know, but for some reason they had a Brazilian team in there. But Sal was going insane talking about what the fuck, there should be an American team, and then there's another American guy there arguing too, like there should be one, but he wanted to put in all his guys. The guy, I'm like, who is this dude? Like, we didn't know who these people were. Like, it was another American team there or guys from America, but be honest, most of them weren't that very good. So Al ended up arguing the guy down where it went from all 5 guys from that one dude's team, some rando team, to basically one of their guys and 4 of us from Crazy 88. And we went into the War of the Countries, and we took second, hungover. Wow. Like we had our little, we had our little, like we were really like.
Wait, so you weren't supposed to be competing that day?
No, we weren't.
I was like,
we were pissed.
Why were you drinking before you competed?
Like, because it was a random tournament. It was like a random little side quest for the tournament, and we go and we just start killing it. Like we're hungover as shit, so we're just doing crazy shit, like flying triangles. Like one of our little middleweights blast doubled like the super heavyweight champion of that tournament, like the ultra heavyweight guy. Like we're doing crazy stuff. We're chanting USA, USA. And at first
zero
everyone,
zero
fucks given, because before it was just like a little fun thing and all the countries that nobody was really paying attention in the stands. But once we started winning, like we had to go through basically every European country imaginable during this War of the Countries. And we're just getting louder and belligerent, like USA. Like I'm doing like after we beat, I think we actually beat Portugal, or like we beat Portugal, and like by that time in the semis, like people were coming down from the stands. Against, like,
of course,
it was heated. And another thing about it, it was 5-on-5, right? Best 3 out of 5, but it was random draw from both teams. So it was basically blind, like here's our 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, right? they randomly picked theirs, but it'd be crazy mismatches. Like our tiniest guy who was a lightweight ended up fighting another country's super heavyweight. But the crazy part is like he Khabib'd him. He like took him down, took his back, finished him. Like it was just insane. That's why I think if that's what finished him. I think hungover jiu-jitsu is the best jiu-jitsu. So ever since that day, I believe if you're hungover,
little kids are watching this, Tim.
If little kids are listening to a show called BJJ Goons, they should know what they're getting into. Think about it. Goons, not the Goonies, the Goons, BJJ Goons. Like, I even have to say every time I upload an episode, this show is not for children on YouTube and on our RSS feed. But yeah, that's my best trip story that is fit for public consumption.
That's dope.
All right, you want to go to bad, like your worst, Nico? Or you want to sneak in another good one? Or you just want to do
I want to sneak in another funny European story, because like I didn't know like all drugs were like legal in Portugal. So like I speak like 3.5 languages. I'm kind of like known for speaking languages and translating. So like at Europeans one year, an American hit me up, and I will not reveal the name to this brown belt, but they're like, yo, could you help me get some weed? And like down by that plaza, they sell a lot of weed and everything, and a lot of hash. And it's like, I'm very hip to the European culture. I was like, you don't go to like Portugal and expect to smoke weed. Like it's very hard to find. Like you could like bring a cart or like just get used to some hash. Like hash is really easy to find. But I was like, yeah, whatever. It's like your money, your life. Like if you just need somebody to translate, like I'm good. And then so we go down to the plaza, and I had been doing my touristy thing, because normally when I'm at Europeans, I work for Fellow Grappling. So like I just work all day, every day. I have no time. But like one day I had gone over to see the castles in Sintra, and I found a tuk-tuk driver, a reliable source of information. He told me something like, 1 gram of weed should be like 20 euros. And like I relayed this information because I can't do math for shit. Like I can speak all the languages. I can't spell in any of them. And well, I can spell in Spanish and Portuguese. I can't spell in English. And I can't do math. So I was like, I'm not really good. Like I can translate this transaction for you, but mathematically wise, like, you should like be there. But he didn't want to be there. So he just followed me to the plaza, and then like I go find the person, and he's just like hiding in the corner. I was like, yo, you're the brown belt and the man in this situation. Stop hiding like a little bitch in the corner or whatever. But the important thing is he should have been there, because he would have understood, like maybe if he heard the math to the transaction, it wasn't right. So I used his money, got what he wanted. But as soon as like the guy walked away, another guy walks up and he's like, yeah, those are scammers. That's tea that you just bought. Like that's not weed. And he's like, you should get some hash. So it did turn out to be tea. So he had lost that money, but then had me buy like some hash off this dude. So like he got like a minimal amount of hash, and it was just like a really funny experience. I was like, there's your translation services for you, and goodbye.
Gotta be careful of the hash dealers in Europe. There are a lot of scammers.
Well, if it's legal, then where would you have gone to get it? I don't know. I do not know.
That guy is scared. He's scared. He's scared. Scary dude.
It was a funny experience. It was like, yeah. All right. I see him all the time at competitions in America too. It's like, yeah, all right. All right.
Bad story. You got to give us a bad one.
It's hard.
That's a bad side quest, but we need like a bad trip.
It's hard to find a bad trip. Like I can't think of any like particularly bad trips. And I would say like the worst one would have to be for like a moment was like when we went to ATL Open, because I have a sponsor that pays for most of my competitions and takes me to them. And I was competing in ATL with Gannon Lang, who's a local athlete that just flew out to California to live with Keenan and them. And he was going with us. And my sponsor offered to buy us all plane tickets instead of having to drive down there. And Gannon said no. And Gannon said didn't want him to spend the money on a plane ticket, which would have been like cheap, because like you have to buy like gas, like, and the drive down to Atlanta, like we live in DC, like my sponsor is up in Maryland close to Baltimore, I'm in DC, so he had to come scoop me, and then we got to go down to like Frederick where Gannon is, and that should be like an hour and a half away from DC. It took us like 4 hours to get to Gannon's house, and I wouldn't kill him by the time we got down there. Because then we still had to drive to Atlanta. It was the worst drive ever. And like only because of that long ass drive that could have easily been avoided by a plane ticket that got denied. That was probably the worst trip. But like, I don't know, because of jujitsu and competing, like you go through hell and you're just like, yeah, that was amazing. Like, so just driving in that car, like.
That's a horrible trip, man. That's like 10, 11 hours.
It was 14 hours. It was 14 hours.
Gracious.
Because it's like from Maryland to Savannah is only 9 hours.
Yes,
and then from Savannah to Atlanta, it's probably another 4, right?
It's 4. About 3.5, 4.
Oh my God. That's like from Maryland to New York.
I know how to beer and bolo because of Gannon, though. If not, I would have killed him. Like, literally, he would be dead.
That's crazy.
Muhsin, bad trip for you, sir.
So, I mean, you guys would all have bad trips if you ever traveled to China or Russia. Both of those places I have no want or desire to go back to, ever. Like, they're the coldest, non-helpful, like, just horrible places, man. China was a whole mess. Like, DJ... All right, DJ.
Were you in China with DJ?
Yeah. He was with me, right? So DJ got some stuff laundered, and evidently they misplaced some of his stuff. And he just wanted to file a report, had to get his stuff back, get paid, whatever. And they like called the cops. The cops didn't believe us. It was a whole damn mess, man. Like, and just from the time you get there, man, people, first of all, if you're black, like, they were looking at us like we were aliens, like, straight up and down. Like, cats would just stop and, like, stare at us. Jeeb especially. Jeeb is, like, 6'4", a giant compared to everybody over there. And they were looking at him like he was just from another planet. But then on top of that, just culturally, they're, like, the Chinese people are different. They're used to being in very crowded spots, so I mean, personal space is not a thing. Like, they'll get right on top of you. One thing that was real crazy to me is, like, when your elevator door opens, you're in the elevator, usually cats will let people get off before they try to get on. That's not what's happening there. Like, as soon as the door opens, people crowd onto the elevator, whether you got, like, if you have to get off, you just got to elbow your way out of there, you know? I mean, just crazy shit. When you're from the South and you're used to people having some level of etiquette, like, China's not the place for you. It's pretty crazy. So I really don't want to go back there. Whole thing was a mess.
Man, Russia was bad too, because they Master Lloyd sent Lenny out there multiple times.
Yeah, Lenny is the right complexion. He's good.
Yeah, he's white.
He told me he loved it out there, man. Me, I hated that damn place.
You didn't like Russia either?
No.
What was the worst about Russia?
So I was in Moscow for like 2 seconds. Then we went all the way to like the Asia side of Russia. I think it's called Kobrovsk. I'm probably saying that completely wrong.
By Mongolia?
But, I mean, yeah, it's all the way on the other coast. So we flew into Moscow. Then we had like another flight to our final destination. So it was a hop and a skip. Yeah. But I mean, once you get there, like, it's like the Cold War just happened. Like, we're driving through a spot that looked like there should be food lines outside and shit. Like, it was just like garbage just on the side of the road. And then you turn a corner and you're like in Bel Air. Like, you can tell it's like a distinct, like, here's the line. This is where they live, where we don't pick up garbage. We don't do anything. And then on this side, there's nothing but Audis, BMWs, like, we're upscale, looks like Rodeo Drive. Like, I thought it was pretty crazy. But let me just, again, back to, you know, when you're from, especially the South, you're used to people having some level of etiquette, some, you know, just being a little more cordial in conversation. And these cats are super cold. The one good thing that happened though, right? Usually, like in Australia, I got my bag searched and everything. I'm the tattooed black guy. Chase went to Russia with me. And on the way back, they pulled his ass out of the line because he looked like a damn CIA agent. He had cargo shorts on. He had like a you know, he buys camo hats and shit. They pulled him out of the line, searched all this shit. They just knew he was a contractor over there doing something he wasn't supposed to do.
John Wayne. You're John Wayne. John Wayne. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty hilarious. Both of those, man, I like, it was a good experience. I got to see it, but I got the stamp in my passport, the visa in my passport, and ain't trying to go back.
All right. What about you, Tim? What was your worst trip?
I would say the worst trip that I went on was we picked a Airbnb, which I swear to this day had black mold or coronavirus in the fucking vents, because like after the first day, we all felt like we couldn't breathe, and like we felt like I had like something wrong with my voice, like I lost my voice almost. So like I was like, what's wrong with the air in here? Plus, like they say it's supposed to look like this one place, and then it didn't look like it looked in the pictures. And like we had like, it was basically me on a bed, and then there was like a pull out under bed underneath that could fit like another twin or like twin size bed. And like Brandon's big ass was laying on this pull out bed underneath. Like it was super ghetto. And like DJ had his own little room. I felt so uncomfortable, and it was in the hood. It was the worst decision I ever made as far as amenities. The trip, it was okay though. Like I did really good in the open. I did really good in my weight class, but I didn't medal. So that was shitty about it too. But just the Airbnb situation at Worlds was god awful, terrible, terrible. I will never do it again. I don't even know how I did that. So
finding
bad,
accommodations can be hard. Like at Worlds, every time I get an Airbnb, there's no place to park in those neighborhoods. Like me and Gannon went to Worlds together, and like we lost the car for like 2 hours. We were walking around trying to remember where we parked it one night. It was horrible.
Parking situation was garbage.
I actually have fun scoping out different places to stay. In Thailand, I've stayed in like super dope, like marble countertop spots, and I've stayed in like rooms with only a fan and a fridge and about as big as a bed. But all of them are pretty cool, man. Like one time I stayed in a hostel, like we had like one shower for the entire complex and no AC. And in Thailand, no AC, it's kind of rough, you know. So, but I mean, it was still a cool experience.
Yeah, I mean, like Thailand does seem like it would be an amazing place.
You should go, Nico. Are they racist in Thailand?
No, I definitely want to go. So, DJ's over there. I'm gonna go stay with him. I ain't paying no Airbnb, no nothing. Like
most horrible people on the planet, but yeah,
what?
They're not really gonna show it to you though. You know?
They're horrible?
No, I said they could be the most racist people on the planet, but you would never know. It's the land of smiles, man. They're always gonna smile. They're always gonna be happy. They're gonna treat you well no matter who you are. Now, I've heard some stories of people having some issues, but most of the issues that I've heard about, people are out there doing shit they shouldn't have been doing anyway. So
that happens a lot.
Yeah.
True. Very true. Very true. So Nico, you know, I went down for this trip. It was kind of like a holiday for me. And since we're in the holiday season, and Thanksgiving was yesterday. Notice how I said Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving is kind of a fucked up holiday. We're woke here at BJJ Goons. We're super woke. Our third eyes are open.
You better get a super woke response from me on this one.
Okay. So 5 things that we're thankful for. I have 5. Nico, you should have 5. I told Muhsin. So we're going to start with Nico. Then we're going to go to me. We're going to go around in a circle. Each one of us says one thing. So Nico, you're number 1. What's something that you're thankful for? And it's martial arts related. Thankful for.
Oh, martial arts related. Thankful for.
Or we can.
We can give it
martial arts related. Mine are gonna be martial arts related, but all right, cool. You go first.
So I'm thankful for Terere, of course, who is my teacher and one of the people that helped me with like founding of my businesses, Terere Kids Project and Favela Jiu-Jitsu. I'm thankful for all of my coaches and my teammates in general, like Master Lloyd, like Tim, DJ, like everybody from TLI generally, whether it's on the mats or off the mats. And I need somebody, there's always someone from the team there, even if it's like going to take my car to Jamil's dad, who's a mechanic. It's just nice to have that support. I am thankful for martial arts related. 1, 2. I had a third one. thankful for, let's say, King's Geese, because they make geese that fit me. It's really hard to find really good competition geese, so that's really nice that they have good quality geese for girls. I am thankful for my mentor, Hal Teague, who is the senior editor at Flow Grappling, and who, if people don't know, helped me with the founding of Today Kids Project. He was vital in getting a lot of the resources I needed in the beginning before we incorporated into a nonprofit, and he still helps me, giving me advice with the nonprofit and with videography and everything. That's 4, right? You're on mute.
Thankful.
All right, and then I am thankful for the Nike Hijab because it's what I wear when I get my locks done, and if I didn't, I would never be able to have my hair.
Nothing. She's not thankful.
What?
We lost you for a second.
Oh, and then the last one would be like
for like 2 seconds.
The Nike Hijab. It's a piece of training gear that I wear. Like it's for Muslims, like, but I wear it when I get my locks done. So it's kind of like protects, you got to take care of yourself when you're training, like your skin, especially like in the winter, like you got to make sure you stay moisturized or you'll get cut up with that spider guard. So yeah, that little hijab is like a secret of mine.
That's hilarious. I rock a do-rag and people think I'm just ghetto.
That don't stay on. That don't stay on. It won't.
I've got the trick.
Yeah, it does stay on.
Never move.
Oh, we need a video on that, Tim. Grab that video. Grab that content.
He kicks
If
a lot.
you can get a do-rag to stay on, because I train with Jalissa. Jalissa wears a do-rag, my favorite training partner, and that thing is a pain in both of our asses.
He kicks a lot of ass with that do-rag on and it doesn't get out of place.
Oh, I want video.
I grappled with his ass. His do-rag did not fall off. And we were grappling the whole time. So I'll also go with my 5 things that I'm thankful for in martial arts. Number 1 would be open. So this whole trip was great because down in Georgia, shit's wide open. The gyms are open. They're not shut down. So I was able to get a lot of good training, teach a nice seminar, which I hadn't done since last year, I believe. And it was just a great experience. I got to share my knowledge and I felt comfortable, It was weird because I was cooped up in the house for so long, but then I was finally able to do what I love to do and it didn't feel weird and dangerous. Like the attitude here is really different and it's a really great thing that the gyms are open. Number 2, my lineage, both in jiu-jitsu, but in also wrestling and judo and, training with Muhsin, the striking side. As far as my lineage goes, I was very lucky. When I first started doing jiu-jitsu, I just was at the mercy of Google, and I just so happened that I Googled Crazy 88, which was affiliated with Team Lloyd Irvin, and I never had to switch schools since. So when people ask questions like, hey, what should I do when finding a school? All I can say is just Google it and look up their results because that's the only way you're really going to know. And I'm really lucky on that part. I'm lucky that, I was able to train with Del Popolo on judo. He has a great lineage. He's an Olympian. I was able to train with Nyam Carr, who was a medalist in the Olympics. I was able to train with Maya, who was world-class in judo. So all these guys are great at judo. Wrestling, very good wrestling coaches that have come through the gym. And, with kickboxing, I trained with Muhsin, I trained with Jamal, and both of them are pupils of Manu Into, who, if you don't know Muay Thai or kickboxing, he's one of the greatest ever. He's in my top 5 as far as striking, pure striking, definitely. And you get that knowledge carried down to you. And it's always interesting when I go and teach, people are like, man, you're such a good instructor. And it's I'm good at talking, but if I didn't have great coaching and great tutelage and a great lineage brought down to me, I wouldn't be able to teach as effectively. So that's one thing I'm really grateful for. And it's been my bread and butter financially, being able to teach. And when you say you are a Team Lloyd Irvin black belt, it's real. If you look through my lineage, killers. And everyone that got their black belt from them was a killer. Yeah. So Master Lloyd, Leo Dalla, George Pereira, Hickson, Elliot, all of them, all the way back to the beginning. Another 3, mouthpieces, because I like my smile. That's a huge thing for me is mouthpieces. I don't know how people train without wearing a mouthpiece. I'm kind of like anal about my mouthpieces. Like I got to make sure that's always in my bag. And I plan on getting a custom one because I don't want to get my teeth fucked up. And I don't know how people did any kind of martial arts before mouthpieces. Like that's crazy. I don't want to lose my teeth. And what's scary was like I heard a story where Dan Henderson still had a mouthpiece in, but his tooth got knocked out and he pulled it out and his tooth was in his mouthpiece.
That's the mouthpiece.
Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah, that's a valid point. Mouthpiece is protection.
Gotta protect your mouth. 90s martial arts movies and TV. That's my number 4, what I'm thankful for. Because growing up in the 90s, you had Mortal Kombat, Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movies and the TV shows, all these do you guys remember MAC Warriors? There was a show where like it was live action and they would fight and do karate in these cages and like on these obstacle courses. Yeah. So you guys gotta Google after the show. But yeah, definitely 90s martial arts movies and TV. And number 5 for me is Fight to Win and other professional jiu-jitsu events. If it wasn't for Fight to Win, I don't think I would be able to have competed professionally for so long and given the opportunities that I've been given. And it's just a great stage. It's a great stage for up and coming grapplers where they can be a professional. You know, just by competing on the show and getting paid, you can show your family, hey, I'm a professional or something, or I'm good. And it's one of the legitimate titles. If you win a Fight to Win belt at black belt, it means something. You have to fight good people, you know. And I think they've kind of changed the idea of what means to be elite. Before it was, oh, you have to do IBJJF or it doesn't count, or you can only do ADCC and Nogi and it doesn't count. But now, with fights, this guy versus this guy on the card, and after that is this guy versus this guy. Oh, and they're all getting paid a decent amount for one match, and it's a nice belts, great presentation, the lighting, they're on a stage, pushing it forward. I'd say I'm very thankful for them. So those are the 5 martial arts things that I'm thankful for. Muhsin, you're next, buddy.
All right. So as far as martial arts, man, very similar to yours, man. My lineage, you know, TLI and Manu. So those are 2 on my list. So TLI, man, not only did he teach me that, you know, martial arts is more, or being a competitor, being an elite competitor is more than just drilling technique. It's the way you attack it mentally. That changed my entire perspective, man. The first time I trained with him, when he recruited me, brought me up, beat my butt, he made me read a couple of books. One was Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret. And just that outlook and that way of looking at life changed the way I do everything. So I'm very blessed. And like you said, how analytical and technical the way he instructs and the way he breaks down every little piece of the jiu-jitsu puzzle has radiated into all of us, man. It's made us all very good instructors, man. If you get a chance to sit in a class with DJ breaks down everything. Just like we all do. You know what I'm saying? The same thing. Sitting in a seminar with you, man, every little piece of that technique matters, and you explain it and you relay it to your students very well. And so I'm blessed to come from that same lineage and to be able to pass that on to my students. Same thing, Manu. Manu is, when you get a chance to work with him, you will. He's the exact same way. It's not just, okay, this is how you throw your kick. This is where you need to step. This is where your body needs to be. This is how your shoulder needs to turn to generate the most power. And to keep you safe when you throw this kick, you know, and it made a huge difference. And the way he looks at competition, the way he looks at preparation, changed the way I prepare and the way I compete. Beyond that, I'm thinking
about him. Sorry to interrupt, but everybody talks about Manu. Like way back when I started working for Master Lloyd doing videography, like that he was brought up. Like everybody brings him up. I got to go down there and meet this man.
Yeah, let me know when you want to go. As soon as you decide that it's safe to come out the house, We got you. I'll take you down.
I mean, like, I find it safe to come to Savannah. I'm working right now. I looked up flights. I was like, well, maybe I could just slide down for a couple days in between. And then flights were like $300. I was like, I'm a dead that. But like, let me find $100 flight down to Savannah and I will slide right down there. I ain't come down there because of work.
Is that what it is? You sure?
It's just one day of driving.
Nah, I work. Like, I need that money.
About
I need that money.
9 hours of driving.
I don't. That's why I'm not home right now.
It's a hobby to skip for real.
No, let me find an affordable plane ticket and like a couple of days that I ain't working, so I won't miss out. And I'm like, yeah, right over there.
We lost Nico for a second.
Oh,
you said let me find an affordable. You said let you find your affordable what, Nico?
Plane ticket.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love it down here. I learned a lot my time here. It's a shame I have to go.
So, all right, sorry to interrupt. So that was your first one, right? That you were grateful for your lineage, amazing people like Manu that I've heard about.
So I use that as 2. So TLI is 1, Manu is 2, and then the experience that I've had through martial arts, man. The people I've met, good and bad, because I've met some pretty shitty people in this game as well. And it just lets you know. I mean, it just gives you a good insight into people. I'm very much, I like observing the world. And, martial arts has given me an opportunity to do that. And my experiences, man, like one day I want to write a book because it's been crazy. It's been an amazing ride. And, I hope I have a lot of I'm done, So we got TLI, we got Manu is 2, my experience is 3. Then my gym, man, I've been super, super, super blessed to, and again, I think it's, Tim will tell you, like, we have a very good group of guys because I think I've ran off pretty much everybody else. Like, only certain people can be around me because I'm very outspoken and I'm an asshole about certain things. So certain type of people tend to gravitate to me, and it's made us have a really good group here, man. We have a great group of guys at our gym, and I'm really blessed to have those guys competing and training and working their asses off. And Tim will tell you, man, we got some hardworking dudes, man. Some guys that are right on the cusp of doing some pretty great things. So I'm very blessed for my students and the instructors that I have at the gym, and just, Tim, when he moves down and he starts, helping out.
The next headline on Flow Grappling.
I'm very blessed for my gym.
I'm retired. They can't report on me. I'm not a jiu-jitsu guy anymore. I'm retired. I'm semi-retired.
Oh, shit. then finally, man, my parents, man, because my parents put me in martial arts early because I begged them and, watched so many karate movies that I wanted to do this shit. And I knew I was going to do it. I knew early on, I knew as a kid that I was going to do something in martial arts for the rest of my life. And they helped me do it, even though, I came from a very broke upbringing. They figured out a way to get me in martial arts. So I'm very blessed to have had parents that made that happen for me. And then just gave me the guidance to never quit and keep, doing it, and been able to make a life out of it. So those are the things I'm thankful about. I did have a woke list that didn't pertain to jiu-jitsu, but we'll save that for another day.
We'll save that for the Patreon. So that was full answer. Everyone did a great job. We have one last question, and then we're going to wrap up. All right? I'm going to read it off. We go in order: Nico, Muhsin, and I guess I'll answer it. This person, I promised this person they could be anonymous, so I'm not going to name the name. What's good, Tim? Been listening on and off for a minute now. In the latest episode, you've referenced how racist jiu-jitsu is/can be. I've been training for over a year in San Diego, Hibero, and now at Legion with Keenan. I haven't experienced it overtly. As a black man in BJJ at 42, what should I be looking out for? Who should I be on the lookout for? Appreciate what you and Nico are doing. Keep pushing. Thank you. Guys. Nico?
So the question is, what should he be looking out for?
Yes. What should I be looking out for? Who should I be on the lookout for? Appreciate what you and Nico are doing.
It depends on the degree of the people that you want to be around. Like Muhsin said, he's kind of outspoken. Like I'm very outspoken in that sense as well. So it's like you can be in an environment where you would say that they're like not racist, but then there's these proponents that are coming out that says there's no such thing as not being racist. You're either racist or you're anti-racist, you know? So it's like you could be in an environment where people just don't care like about like what's going on, and all they want to do is jujitsu, and like that might be okay for you. That's not okay for me. Like I don't want to wake up in that kind of environment. Like I don't think people realize, like as a Black person, you wake up every day and generally the first thing you see is Black people dying, and it's hard to avoid that narrative. And I want to be in an environment that not only just doesn't like care or they're not racist. I want to be in an environment that's going to foster something for me, whether it's for Black people or not. So it's like I just had Andres over here, did a great job with him. Like Andres seems like a really cool dude, like walking around like, but he also is like your typical white dude. He's walking around with some socks and a little dog, and he probably doesn't have that many problems or probably can't relate to the things that I'm going through in life. Like, so like he might be a cool jujitsu person, but do I think I would kick it like I kick it with Tim and DJ? No. So is that okay? Does that make him a bad person? No. Is that the kind of environment that I want to train in? No, because I do that. I train like it's my job. Like I train like it's a profession. I don't do it for a hobby. So I want to be around like-minded people. Like I am at the place where I train, and this is where I have a studio, and this is where I spend all of my time with these people. These are my friend and my training partners, but that's the environment that I seek. You know, I don't seek like an after school hobby training with cool people. And that, if that's what I was looking for, then yeah, training with Andres would be dope, because Andres is dope. My boy Gannon's going to be over there, and I would love to be in that environment. But it's because I'm not immersed 24/7 in it. But like for me, that's completely immersed. I need to be something that's actually like rocking with what I rock with actively. Like, and that's just my preference. Like you need to be fighting or you need to be out of my circle.
Got it. That's good. Sin?
Just to expound on what she said, man, for sure. If you're, you know, if you live life like nothing is wrong, then you're part of the problem. Like, you know, the people that claim they're colorblind are the biggest hurdle in ever getting any positive change to happen. Because if you're colorblind, then you can't see the systemic problems that minorities face in America, that African Americans face in America. So it's important for people to be observant and to be willing participants in change. And if you're sitting back enjoying the fruits that your forefathers brought to you, you know, I mean, then you're part of the problem, man. So yeah, I definitely want to be around people that are, you know, aiding and helping make change. And, you know, for him to say that he's never seen it overtly, like it's surprising. If he's around it long enough, he will, you know, especially if he's in an environment where people aren't making sure it's not there. So he's going to see it. But I mean, just make sure he's always in a position where he feels good and comfortable, man. If you don't feel comfortable, leave that situation.
That's great. I agree on the tail end of what she said for sure. If you don't feel comfortable, you should leave. But it sounds like he's comfortable. I think what you should be looking out for is just listen. I would say listen. That's the best thing I would do. Listen to what people say, especially if they're not skin folk or kinfolk, and just listen. And there's always going to be microaggressions. I hear it all the time. You know, there's always guys that'll say, "Oh, you're really strong." Like Black people hit me up all the time. They're like, every time I try to do something or I'm super technical or whipping their ass, they say, "Oh, you're really athletic or you're really strong." Or a lot of instances, I've been told I had to switch from this team to this team because they see an athletic Black dude or just a Black dude and they single me out all the time, even though I'm smaller, or I don't really learn anything. They just use me as a crash dummy. So I've heard that a lot. I've never experienced it and I'm not there, so I don't know if it's true or not. But if that many people are telling me it's true, I'd say it's probably true. And I would just listen and look out for that kind of stuff, you know? But people say little shit all the time when they feel comfortable with you. And you're a 42-year-old black dude. So, I mean, that's what he said. So you probably know what to listen up to for. Who should you be on the lookout for, though? As far as who? The guys tell on themselves all the time on social media.
They'll tell you exactly who they are.
They'll tell you exactly
and
who they are.
They're proud of that shit, too.
Yeah, so if you see like Henzo quoting Nazis and then getting called out for it and then doubling down, and then you look at who people are friends with, and another little thing you could do is probably just look at what they like or share or follow, and they tell on themselves. But hopefully you're not even on social media, bro, because like I don't like social media. I hate it. You know, it's like a time waster. Read a book or something. But those are the things that I would say to answer the question. That's an excellent question. And of course, as we always say, defund racist jujitsu. So if the guy's a racist scumbag with good at jujitsu, look at their footage, steal their content, and share it with your other like-minded friends that aren't racist. Fuck them. Hit them in their pockets. That's all I got to say. Yes, as always, hit them in their pockets, hit them where it hurts. But Nico, Muhsin, thanks for coming on the show. Where can we find you guys? Nico?
All right, make sure to follow me at NoNoNico on Instagram. I have no Twitter because I talk too much for that. Also, make sure to follow Favela Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram. And that's about it. Nothing new else.
Muhsin?
So hit me at Champion Muhsin on Instagram, Muhsin Corbbrey on Twitter and Facebook. And check out my gym site, CGC, Champions Training Center. And if you're in Savannah, come see us, man. We open.
You can find me at Tim Spriggs BJJ on Instagram and Facebook. You can also find me at timspriggsbjj.com. I also have an OnlyFans that's about to come out. It's called Jitsbay at onlyfans.com. I'm really gonna make an OnlyFans, guys.
You keep saying you're gonna have to.
I'm just gonna start.
Through. You're putting it out into the universe.
I'm gonna start doing thirst traps. I'm gonna start putting up thirst traps, okay, with motivational quotes underneath. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna say, go to my OnlyFans.
It works.
Yes. I seen it. I synced it. That's how you come up. There's a formula. Like Master Lloyd says, there's always a system, soldier. First, you get the Instagram, then you do the thirst traps, then you get the quotes, then you open up the OnlyFans.
Yo, I just put my first one up, as a matter of fact.
Your first OnlyFans?
You can find me at Parlor on Parlor. I'm just kidding.
My first thirst trap joint, I guess.
Oh, I'm gonna go check it out right now.
Muhsin is looking for that sister wife. He's looking for the second wife.
You know, I mean, I can only have 4, so, you know.
Hey.
Only? How many do you
judge.
have?
I've got 1, and I don't want to get anybody else stabbed, so I'm probably going to stick with 1.
It's like feeling cute, might delete later. I said, okay.
No, for real.
Oh no, this is the thirst trap one. This is the thirst trap one. Never mind.
I'm gonna make Muhsin a Tinder account and see how it goes.
Don't give me
Yo, you're gonna get him stabbed. Wait till you get out of Savannah.
No,
all right, and on that note,
hey, on that note, feet pics are $50, folks. Just kidding. This is the BJJ Goons podcast. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're on every podcast platform. Yes, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm talking to you. Make sure you like and share this, okay? There's so many views, but not enough likes on my channel. Get them like. That's it. Peace out. This has been the BJJ Goons podcast.